don't need to have a quorum.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I don't know if we do. I agree.
Okay.
So in reading through this, because I actually did read it in advance so that I could make sure I could.
What?
Municipalities may conduct meetings of their governing boards without having a quorum of its members presented physically or at any specific location. It's
right, but I don't know if that means that you can have a meeting without a quorum of people.
Okay.
I
don't know.
Yeah. That's pretty much it.
Well, actually, the public can comment on every item.
Since they're on the agenda?
Every item on the agenda, they
Okay.
need to request public comment.
Okay.
So Eric is here now, right?
Yep, Eric's here. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Eric.
Hey, Eric.
Okay, so
How's everybody doing?
We want to see your pretty face.
I will show you my pretty face. I normally don't show them, but I will do it just for you, Jerry.
Aw, thanks.
Hi.
Glad you got dressed up for the occasion.
Hey, this is my home. This is my home day today. So I'm normally at the airport. I would have looked a little nicer, but this is my home day. Sorry.
We appreciate you joining us.
Thank you for being here.
Okay, so we're missing.
Danny and Michael. And Jennifer said she was going to do her best to be here.
What about Neil?
Neil's on vacation.
Okay.
Oh, here, Danny just emailed me. Okay. Let's see. Here he is.
Oh, Danny's on. Okay. Well, we have a quorum.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's wait for Danny to fully connect. According to my screen, he's still connecting.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we get to vote. He gets to do everything.
Yeah,
I'll
We're
give
not
him all my
recording yet.
items.
Right?
Yeah,
We're not recording yet.
he doesn't have his microphone. Yeah.
Chris, how's the baby?
Oh, he's good. He's going to be 2 in 11 days.
Oh my gosh.
That's
See, that's
fun.
how you track time. Without kids, we'd never know what time it was.
Right? Yeah, he's grown up way too quickly. Hi, Danny.
Hey, everybody.
Oh, there's
Hey. It took me a little bit there. I have to join with phone. I sound like Darth Vader if I use my computer audio for some reason.
It's all good.
You don't want to hear it.
I finally got in a room where I don't have to wear my mask. You'd hear me go every couple seconds.
Shall we
Turn my
begin?
home office on too, my wife.
Let's. We've got our quorum now.
Danny's phone.
Okay.
Danny's shows a. Okay, whatever. Can we hear Danny?
Yep. I'm sorry.
You're okay. Oh, I can hear. Okay.
Yeah, I think Danny might be muting and unmuting probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I see. I'm ready.
All right. I'm going to bang the cell phone, not too hard. And at 2:05 p.m., today's meeting of the Public Art and Design Advisory Board is called to order on July 30th, 2020. An agenda for today's meeting is on the wall at the entrance to council chambers and online at myclearwater.com. For those present in chambers, please remember to turn off your cell phones. To ensure public safety and comply with Governor's Safer at Home order in response to the COVID-19 virus, the Public Art and Design Advisory Board, its July 30th, 2020 meeting remotely. Pursuant to Executive Order Number 20-69 issued by the Office of Governor Ron DeSantis on March 20th, 2020, municipalities may conduct meetings of their governing boards without having a quorum of its meeting members present physically or at any specific location, and utilizing communications media technology such as telephone or video conferencing as provided by Section 120.545B2 Florida statutes. Mr. Hubbard, can you please read the roster of board members appearing remotely for this meeting?
Yes, ma'am. Starting at my top right corner, we have Jonathan Barnes. Moving down to the left, Jerry Manal. Eric, is it Sealer or Seiler, Eric?
Tyler.
Seiler, Eric Seiler, and Danny Olda. We also have with us our board reporter, Pat Sullivan, and we have our studio manager managing our incoming calls if we do have any phone citizens.
Thank you very much. The city will be accepting public comment at this meeting from in-person attendees, individuals calling into the meeting, or by staff presentation of pre-written public comments. Citizens wishing to provide comments on an agenda item are encouraged to do so in advance through written communication or through written comment. The city has established the following 3 options to ensure public comment for a virtual meeting. 1, e-comments via Granicus. E-comments is integrated with the published meeting agenda. Individuals may review the agenda item details and indicate their position on the item. Comments received during the meeting will become part of the official record if posted prior to the closing of public comment. Our clerk will read and receive comments into the record. 2, call-in number. During the meeting, individuals will be able to call in to 727-562-4646 and be placed on air to speak to an individual item. 3, council chambers. Additionally, like any other Public Art and Design Advisory Board meeting, the public may provide public comment during the meeting at the main library, Council Chambers, 100 North Osceola Avenue. Due to COVID-19, all speakers desiring to appear in person will be subject to all applicable emergency measures to prevent the further spread of COVID-19. Speakers who appear in person will be subject to screening for symptoms of COVID-19. Any persons exhibiting any symptoms of COVID-19 will not be permitted to enter council chambers, but will be able to participate through the remote options described above. Roll call. I will now ask the board members to introduce themselves. I will begin by introducing myself. I'm Jerry Manal, board chair. Vice Chair Seiler, please introduce yourself.
Eric Seiler, Vice Chair.
Board member Olda
Board member Danny Olda.
and board member Barnes.
Board member Jonathan Barnes.
Thank you all. Item 2, approval of minutes. Our first order of business is to review and approve the minutes of the board's June 11, 2020 meeting. May I have a motion of approval
I motion to approve.
and a second?
I'll second.
Do any board members wish to discuss this item? Okay, now I will ask the board to vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind.
Now I will ask the board to vote on this item. Due to board members participating remotely, I will ask for your vote on this item individually by roll call. When I call your name, please tell the board whether you approve or oppose this item. Vice Chair Seiler,
I approve.
Thank you. Vice Chair Olda? I'm sorry, Board Member Olda?
I approve.
Thank you. And Board Member Barnes?
I approve.
My vote is I approve. The minutes of the June 11, 2020 meeting are now approved. Item 3, citizens to be heard regarding items not on the agenda. I will now ask if there are any members of the public wishing to speak to items not on today's agenda. We have multiple ways for the public to present comments, so I will need to ask staff at various locations if there is anyone from the public wishing to speak. Mr. Hubbard, is there anyone in council chambers wishing to speak on an item not on today's agenda?
I do not see anyone, ma'am.
I don't either. Thank you. Are there any public comments from electronic communication or people calling in? Thank you. Seeing no one coming forward, we will move on to the next item. Item 4, new business. Item 4.1, approve the proposed finalist and alternative for Sculpture 360, Season 10. Mr. Hubbard will present this item.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I've got a presentation of the, there it is. Okay. The first sculpture, and these are the favorites by voting from the panel. Our first sculpture is Robert Cordisco. Paradox is the name of the piece. It is 2'5" by 2 foot by 7 feet tall. It is made of stainless steel, and from the sculptor is from Palm Beach Gardens. The second piece is by Lucy Keshevars. It's entitled Ring Canopy. It is 6 foot by 6 foot by 14.5 feet tall, made of powder coated aluminum, and she is also from Palm Beach Gardens. Our third piece is Clayton Swartz, Festival Blue, 2 foot by 2 foot by 10 foot, made of aluminum and enamel, and he is from Pinellas Park. And our alternate, Gus and Lena Ocampa Silva. The piece is entitled Tree. It is 4 foot by 4 foot by 10 feet, welded aluminum and enamel, and they're from Clearwater here in Florida. And I have a note that all of the sculptors this year are Florida residents per the call to artists. We did also request the theme of sustainability or recycled materials. Out of the 17 pieces that were submitted, we only had 4 that were of any kind of repurposed or recycled material. Only one of them showed the actual material of that and was not voted in by the panel. So I would ask the board if they would approve the slate of sculptures for Sculpture 360 Season 10.
Okay, may we have a motion of approval
Eric Seiler, motion to approve.
and a second?
I'll second.
Do any board members wish to discuss this item?
I do have one question for Chris.
Yes.
Eric does. The alternate from Gus and Lena Ocampa Silva tree. The tree.
Ocampa Silva?
Yes, thank you. Why is that an alternate? Just that's just in case the other 2 drop out or get theirs taken from somewhere else. Is that just part of the process for selection?
We've got the 3 just in case someone can't make it. We have in the past on occasion had where an artist just either doesn't have the piece by the time that we've informed them or that they're unavailable. I don't foresee that this time simply because we've had such a quick turnaround for this. The call to artists only closed about 2.5 weeks ago. So I would be very surprised if any of the artists are not available to exhibit.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
I have a
That's the only question I
question.
Yes.
I love Gus and Lena's work. I do, and I love that they are from Clearwater. how many pieces do we currently have? And I understand that the 360 is a temporary, it's a short-term thing. How many pieces do Gus and Lena have currently in the um, throughout Clearwater in our collection?
We have one piece of theirs. It's at the East Library.
Okay.
It is Reaching for Knowledge. It's a yellow and blue sculpture.
Okay, terrific. I wasn't certain if we had another piece of theirs or not.
They have participated in Sculpture 360 in the past. It's been a few years since they've had a piece in the show, though.
Okay. Thanks. Any other questions, comments?
Nope.
All right. When I call your name, please tell the board whether you approve or oppose this item. Vice Chair Seiler?
I approve.
Thank you. Board Member Barnes?
I approve.
Thank you. Board Member Olda?
I approve.
Thank you. And my vote is I approve as well. So the sculptures for Sculpture 360 Season 10 are now approved. They will now be recommended to City Council for their approval. Item 4.2, review an update on the placement of public art at Crestlake Park. Mr. Hubbard.
Okay, thank you. Can everyone see this fairly well on their screens?
Yes.
Okay. I've been able to meet with the designers for the park and have gone over some placements with them. These are some recommended placements based on proximity to areas where people congregate, as well as areas that are landscaped or have rain gardens. They present a good opportunity to have that spirit of discovery of a public art scavenger hunt throughout the complex as people move around the lake. The first one, starting at the top center, is the event lawn. There's also a rain garden located just to the, that would be the south of that. And it is the northwest entrance to the park. The next is the lake overlook. There's a pier that runs out into the lake, as well as another planting area that's going to be planted with plants that are native to the area, as well as reeds and ferns that are native and thrive in that lake environment. Site number 3 is the boardwalk. That presents an opportunity to have a water-based piece if we'd like. That is a boardwalk that connects the path over the far east side of the lake. Site 4 is the launch beach. It's located in the southeast corner of the park. That's an area where people will be able to put boats or kayaks into the lake. And it has another area of the marsh grass areas, which also could be another water-based section. Site 5 is the dog park, one of the most heavily used sections of the park. And this is the main entryway into the dog park area. And Site 6 is another rain garden and is the main entrance into the children's play area. So that'll get a lot of traffic as well. So the opportunity for 6 smaller pieces or a combination of any of those can be presented through the call to artists, depending upon the size and scope of the work needed to bring in these pieces. We could have between, I believe, 3 to 6 pieces, depending on their size. As per our caution, we want to make sure that the pieces are integrated into either the landscape or the hardscape or mounted directly into the earth to make sure that these pieces don't get up and walk away with anyone and serve as decoration for their own property. Does the panel have any questions at this point?
No questions from Eric.
No.
So the possibility is that we could have contributions from 6 different artists, depending if it meets within the criteria in the budget.
Yes.
And
They could be, it could be from 6 different artists. It could be all from the same artist. We have the flexibility to commission multiple artists there, though.
Is there a possibility of being able to rotate the sculptures out?
Potentially, yes. When we have contributions into the discretionary fund from other projects, that'll give us more flexibility in budget. But yes, we could rotate these out. We could put in a standing area pad like we do have downtown with Sculpture 360 and change them.
Am I remembering correctly from conversations of the past? Are we thinking about theming this somehow so that there's a continuous theme at all locations, or that's going to be up to the Crestlake Park selection panel?
We have some theme ideas for the native flora and fauna of the park, the wildlife and the flowers and plants of the park, as well as the nod to the gladiolas, and chrysanthemums, which were actually farmed on this area in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, could be some potential streams of inspiration as well. So those are considered at this point to be the themes of it, but they could, change if the selection panel sees something that fits appropriately well for the sites as well.
Thank you. Are there any other board members that have any other questions for Mr. Hubbard? Okay. Then our next step in item 4.3 is to appoint a public art and design advisory board member to the Crestlake Park selection panel. Are there any volunteers?
I'll volunteer. I live about 2 blocks from this park, so maybe 3 blocks. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Fantastic. Then board member Barnes will serve on this panel.
I've got some panel ideas for you as well for the remaining spaces. Joanna Siskin from the Skycrest Neighborhood Association has expressed interest in being a citizen representative. And I'm recommending a Parks and Recreation representative, either Matt Anderson, who handles our landscape team, or Michael Lavery, who handles our maintenance areas, to be a representative serving the city and the user reps. I also have an idea of Kelly Ciciola. She's with Rosa Lowinger and Associates Conservation. She would be able to advise us on any conservation and maintenance areas that we want to pay attention to for this site, particularly in planting in and around the landscape beds, as the pieces, if they do not rotate, or if they do as well, things that we need to be on the lookout for as far as sprinklers or any kind of watering, or potentially any changes in the landscape as far as change out or trampling. And also, I'm recommending that we have landscape architect Catherine Corcoran. She's with the city of Clearwater, and she would be able to advise us on things, works that would go complement well with the plantings and the design of the overall park aesthetic.
That all sounds great.
Sounds great, yeah.
Very excited about this. Is there a time frame?
We would release the call in August and form the panel in late September to early October.
And the call will be released?
That'll be in mid-August.
On what lines?
I'm sorry. We will do the Americans for the Arts, the Florida Association of Public Art Professionals, Call for Artists, Public Art Opportunities, as well as the Public Art Network.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Do any board members have any other questions for Mr. Hubbard before we move on?
No, ma'am.
Okay, excited about this one.
Yes. This will be a really nice update to this park, and I think the artwork opportunities are great to have some really nice creative pieces around through the park.
Absolutely. Okay, item 4.4, review an update on the placement of public art at the Clearwater Gas System Utility Complex.
Okay.
Mr. Hubbard.
Thank you. I met with Brian Langle. He's the assistant director of the gas system. This is an area, because this is a utility complex, we want to make sure that the public is able to view the artwork from a distance away. Originally, they would have been exempt from the public art ordinance, but they agreed that they wanted some artwork somewhere on the site. Mr. Langle and I walked around the facility, and we located these two buildings, actually these three buildings that you can see in the photo, that are directly adjacent to the Pinellas Trail and the Blanche Littlejohn Trail. They represent a good site for either mural or some form of affixed mosaic or other enhancement. And so this is probably the best area, considering that the majority of the complex has gas vehicles moving and going in and out of it quite frequently. We want to make sure that our public remains safe and away from those heavy equipment.
All right, thank you. Our next item is to appoint a Public Art and Design Advisory Board member to the Clearwater Gas System Utility Complex Selection Panel. Are there any questions prior to us doing that?
I do have one question. The location of the actual complex, Chris, where's that?
It's located just north of downtown off Myrtle and Maple.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
And you mentioned you could see it pretty easily from the trail.
Yes, just to the right of the photo, you can see some trees there. They're rather small trees, and the trail is immediately opposite them. So I would say about 30 feet, 35 feet to the wall from the trail.
Yep, looks like it.
Okay, do I have any volunteers that would be interested and willing to be on the selection panel for the Clearwater Gas System Utility Complex?
I'd like to volunteer. I haven't been on the panel yet. There's Eric, by the way.
Okay, thank you very much. Board Member Seiler will serve on this panel.
All right,
Moving
thank you. I do have just a few recommendations as well for this particular project. We've got our Public Art and Design Board Chair with Mr. Seiler. We've got our gas system user rep, Brian Langle. We'd like to have a resident from the Blanche v. Littlejohn Trail, which is directly to the west of the park and would have a front door view of the work that's on the side of this building. I'd like to also have Janae Preby from the Shine Mural Festival. She's the curator of the murals for that program, as well as Melissa Davis from the City of Tampa Public Art Program.
It's really good. I got to work with Janae recently on a grant mural program with Creative Knowledge, and she's so expert.
Fantastic. Any other questions for Mr. Hubbard on this one? Comments? And the time frame?
This one will be released in early September. Same release methods as the Crestlake Park. We also have a mural contact listing of artists who applied for the murals in the downtown district. There are 145 of them that we have a contact list of as well.
Wow. Great.
Will we be requesting Florida natives for something such as this?
I think it would be appropriate.
Yeah.
Awesome. Sounds exciting.
Yeah, very cool.
Anybody else have anything else on this one? Okay, moving on to item 4.6, review of a proposed gift of the Poseidon God of the Sea sculpture and provide comments. Mr. Hubbard.
Okay, this is an interesting gift opportunity. We received from the city council a donor that would like to donate this sculpture of Poseidon. I believe Poseidon's holding a broom in this picture, but he would be holding his signature trident. This is a rendering of what the donor would like to see. They said they are flexible on removing the wall, but would like for the fountain portion of it to remain part of the sculpture. They have some ideas that they'd like to have it sited somewhere on Clearwater Beach. You'll see on the left-hand side of the screen, it's just to the south of Pier 60. That's one of the main beach access points in sites 1 and 2. Sites 3, 4, and 5 to your right are also beach access points. Site 6 is recommended, but that is on top of one of our sand dunes and would disturb the native sea oat habitat, so that site would not work. I do have some additional information for this piece. It was originally proposed for the city of Tarpon Springs. The donor and Tarpon Springs could not agree to an appropriate placement or configuration for the piece. Tarpon Springs was interested in not having the wall. The donor grew upset with Tarpon Springs and rescinded his offer of this gift. So he is now offering it to the city of Clearwater. We do have another sculpture of a Greek, I guess, sorry, catch my words, a Greek immigrant. He was reportedly the first Greek to land in Florida, Theodoros Greco, that's located probably about 200 yards to the east by northeast in the Pier 60 Park. The proposed gift is not like anything we do have in the collection. We try to maintain some sort of cohesiveness to our collection and want to take on pieces that we would be able to easily maintain. It is, as your public art board staff representative, I recommend that we not accept this gift. However, I will leave it to the board for comments or discussion.
I have a couple questions. One, what is the size of it? Two, are we responsible for building the fountain that it would be surrounded by? There's two questions for you.
Yes. Okay. The piece itself is about 10 feet tall. It would be put onto this sculpted pedestal that would make it approximately 13 and a half feet tall. The city would be responsible for building the pedestal that it stands on.
I had a couple questions myself. Also, would that mean the city would also be paying for that pedestal?
Yes.
And in the safety with the trident, is the water in the way sort of I guess what's expected to keep people from catching themselves on that?
I share similar concerns. I don't believe that the water is a deterrent enough barrier to people touching this sculpture or to poking themselves with the trident.
Are there other board members that have questions, concerns, comments?
I don't think that I agree with Chris in that it doesn't fit with the other pieces that are in the collection. It's a very generous gift.
I do have a question, and this is maybe something for Chris. We talk about the cost. The city would have to basically build and pay for the pedestal and construction around it. Would that be looking to come out of the public arts budget, or would that be a separate budget that the city would come up with, or do we even know?
I'm not sure as to to what would fund it. I imagine the city would try to look towards the public art fund since it is a sculpture, but I do not know the answer to that.
Okay.
I wonder what the approximate cost of building this pedestal would be.
I have a question. If we did consider it, does it have to have a trident?
Not certain. I would imagine the donor would want for Poseidon to have a trident, but I do not know the answer to that. He could have a broom.
And you mentioned that wall behind him was removing it was a deal breaker with Tarpon, but is up for conversation now. Did I understand that right?
The donor wanted to have the wall in Tarpon. Tarpon was concerned that the wall would be too large for the site that it was on. They had requested moving it to another location. The donor was not satisfied with that and was not willing to budge on having the wall removed for his donation to Tarpon Springs. However, for the city, he would be flexible to remove the wall.
I may have missed this. What is it made out of?
This is a bronze.
Okay. I wasn't sure because I see the CNC in the background, so I didn't know if it was maybe foam and fiberglass or something like that.
No, this is a bronze.
So the primary and I'll kind of put you on the spot a little bit, Chris, is your recommendation really is to not have it only because, or not only, but one reason would be because it doesn't fit with the repertoire of the city of Clearwater's public arts that we have currently in place. Would that be correct?
That's one of the rationales that I have for it. I am concerned with maintenance as well as risk management. And I do have some concerns of accepting a gift that the city would have to, construct a pedestal and an area to display the piece. I don't feel that, I guess in a non-technical term, it really jives with our public art collection. I am definitely interested in having a diverse collection, but I would prefer for the Public Art Board to be part of the process in securing that diversity rather than having a gift suggested to the city.
Makes sense.
My biggest concern is the health and safety of the in the middle of the night.
I'm envisioning a lot of pictures showing up with some interesting poses happening with that the Triton.
Selfie magnet.
One of the ongoing maintenance issues we have with the Theodorus Greco statue is that he is pointing eastward with his index finger extended. That finger is most commonly covered in a condom on spring break. It seems to be an ongoing tradition that a team has to go out and remove the condom, which does not take long, but it's, I'm sure, something that, is not the highlight of their day.
Right. And we would have a similar issue more than likely with a Triton, something of that nature, potentially in the future, right there on Clearwater Beach, a very iconic location for the city of Clearwater.
I'd imagine a three-pronged attack.
Okay. Are you looking for a recommendation from the board today, Chris?
I can have a recommendation if the board is interested in doing so. At this point, I just wanted to have a discussion with the board. But if the board feels that the dominant opinion is one way or the other, at this point, I can certainly take that.
Is the board interested in voting on this at this time, or do we want to sit with it and bring it up at our next meeting?
I'm a little hesitant to vote personally, just because it's a gift, and gifts are nice to have. I'm sure the city council may have some different feelings on denying a gift, but hard to say. But if so kind of a little torn, my personal opinion, just because of that the political outfall of denying a gift, if you will, or recommending that we do.
Anybody else have any thoughts? Thank you. Well, we'll call this a discussion and we'll move along.
Okay, and I can get some more information for you between now and our next meeting as well.
Thank you, Chris.
Mhm.
Okay, item 5 is old business. And 5.1, let's review the current public art fund balance.
Okay, our balance stands at $92,785. We have a potential incoming budget of $100,000 from overflow from the gas program that they would wish to donate to the Public Art Fund. And that would put our balance at $192,785.
Wow.
Thank you. That's
Robbie?
great. And when we're dealing with large sculptures and things like that, that can go quickly.
That can go very quick.
Did I hear somebody wanted to ask something before moving on?
I was going to make a sarcastic comment about that. That would actually, a fountain would eat that up pretty quick. I think that was noted.
Yes. Okay, item 5.2, review an update on the Public Art General Maintenance and Conservation Fund. Mr. Hubbard.
Okay, I've had some success with talking one of the assistant city managers, and in his conversations with our finance department, we've arrived at being able to do a donation of $15,000 or $20,000 towards a maintenance and conservation budget. That would be seed money that would then be replenished at $15,000 a year from that point on. And that would allow us to not rely on the Public Art Fund for maintenance and ongoing conservation of our works in the collection, which would give us a great deal of freedom to actually use those funds for commissioning works. For example, if we wanted to have a rotating sculpture exhibition at Crestlake Park, we could certainly use those funds for that.
That's fantastic.
I was really pleased to hear that, and that it would even be considered. This is a really nice win for our program. We would be able to defer maintenance to larger needs as well if we needed to save up for restoration if we needed to.
Awesome.
Great. Any questions, comments, thoughts before moving on? All right. Item 5.3, review an update on public art programming in response to COVID-19 and social distancing practices.
Okay. Well, recently I have partnered with the CRA and the Clearwater Arts Alliance to produce a digital downtown arts and culture map. This is a mobile-friendly map that people can click on one of those pin tabs, and it will bring up information about the sculpture or a variety of different things. We have sculptures, we have placemaking projects such as storm drain murals, traffic signal box wraps, and dumpster murals, as well as traditional murals as well. And this covers 25 works that are in the CRA district. This was funded by the CRA. I had presented this at our last meeting, and at this point, we're not able to invest in an app for this particular project. However, the future possibility for that to cover the entire city is there. It's just a matter of getting things in place for that. But for this time right now, we've got our digital map. It's very easy to use. It's at downtownclearwater.com, and it is also shared with the Clearwater Arts Alliance. It allows folks to take a digital tour or lead themselves on a self-guided walking tour. It'll also have a link to the Clearwater Arts Alliance's downtown art tours, which they have a docent-led tour that people can be part of.
This is fantastic.
Thank you. We were able to pull this together rather quickly. And we wanted to make sure that we had something that was timely, but also would allow us to have evergreen content. And we can expand this out to include future sculptures and murals. We also have the ability to link videos, audio, any kind of media files through this so that people can watch a making of or a time-lapse video, as well as additional pictures of the pieces.
Very cool.
How is this being promoted?
We're actually launching it on the 1st of August. And so we're putting it through our normal city public communications. We're doing a press release to our local media. We have a story in 83 Degrees Media that Julie Cordisco has done. And we're also having U-Nation come out to do a spot on the artwork and culture of downtown Clearwater. They're a blog and sort of one of those trendable styles of websites, as well as Tampa Bay is Awesome. They are coming out to do a time-lapse tour of the sculptures. They're going to take a tour through a handful of them and film that.
Fantastic.
So we're really getting some good mileage out of this.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Any other questions or comments on this one?
Nope.
Okay, moving on. Item 5.4, let's review an update on the progress of the Imagine Clearwater project.
Okay, so I'm going to just bring us back to the home screen. Imagine Clearwater is, if you may have read in the paper, the City Council has moved the location of the band shell to a more northeastern area, which is located closer to the library. That has shifted some of the design of the park around. And Stantec, our project designer, are currently responding to that new positioning and refitting the park to include as many areas from the original design as possible. They're in also a value engineering stage as they need to make up some of their budget. So they're reducing some sites as far as amenities. However, they have swapped out one amenity for in favor of a signature public art location at the Civic Gateway entrance to the park. So that's a nice opportunity that they're continuing to have public art as an idea and don't view it as something to be cut out of the overall plan. So as we proceed on with the designs and as we get further renderings that we can release to the public, when they're at a phase that we can release them, I will share them with the Public Art Board and make sure to continue to press as public art as a priority in this park to really create it as a signature destination and really show off public artwork as a vibrant and lively part of our built facilities.
Fantastic. Does anybody have any questions, comments, thoughts to share?
No, just appreciate all your work on that, Chris.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's going to be one big party when we get this thing open.
Yes. It's a long time coming.
It is, but it's going to be fantastic for the city and all neighboring towns. All right. Item 6, Director's Report. Mr. Hubbard, do you have anything further to report?
Yes, I actually did have a couple things that I wanted to just make sure to present to the board. This is from the Clearwater Arts Alliance. They have done 2 more signal boxes using the Public Art Program's grant funding. This is located down near Lake Bellevue. And this is done by artist Elizabeth Baroness. It was created as a collaborative with the artist and the neighborhood.
Love that.
And then this was just installed 2 days ago. This is in the Skycrest neighborhood. It's done by artist Beth Warmath, and it is the gladiolas that used to be grown in that area.
Pretty neat.
So they have done 4 of the 6 public art boxes that we funded. They have 2 more in the works with Spring Branch neighborhood and Valencia Park.
Fantastic.
And then additionally, I wanted to bring up 2 things to just have on our radar. The city's mural program, phase 2. This is this community redevelopment agency. They're sort of a quasi-city department. They are funding another round of murals, and they wanted to make sure that the Public Art Board knew that they were looking to do 5 to 6 new murals in the next year. They are located throughout downtown. We've got 2 on Franklin Street, 1 at the Station Square Garage, 1 on Garden Avenue, 1 out in the Gateway District near Nature's Food Patch, and 1 is the intersection of Cleveland Street and Garden Avenue. It would be a painted intersection. So that's a nice opportunity to have there. So they're just asked me to bring it up to you just as a matter of keeping it on your radar.
Fantastic. I have a question. We
Yes.
have talked about at what point a mural project might extend past downtown proper. I know that we just talked about a possibility of one that will be on the trail. But under whose jurisdiction is that? Unless that's ours for when buildings come up, to start to move things out, Gulf to Bay area, that type of thing.
Yes, that would be our jurisdiction if we wanted to expand a mural program outwards. Right now, at this point, the CRA has been doing theirs within the limits, but there's nothing that prevents us from wanting to do a larger program throughout the city.
Terrific. Maybe that's something that we can address at some point.
Yes, I can bring you an update at our next meeting.
Thanks.
And the last thing I wanted to bring up is the District 3 substation in Countryside. I've been in touch with the project engineer of getting the early plans for that facility to take a look at how we can integrate artwork either into the building itself or onto the corner that's located at Countryside and McMullen. That would really enhance a lot of the visibility for that project. So we're getting in at the ground floor, making sure that we're not having any changes to the location and being part of the process from start to finish.
Excellent.
And that's all of my items.
Thank you. Item 7, are there any board members to be heard? Do any of the board members wish to say anything, share anything, have anything coming up?
Nope. It's pretty easy going.
That's pretty quiet here.
Okay, great. Well, it's 2:53. With that, I'm going to adjourn this meeting. Meeting adjourned.
All right.